Joly. Now, that's, of course, if he can put his phone down for 2 minutes.
Hello! What? No, I'm in the supermarket! Supermarket! No, I'm just shopping!
That was, of course, hilarious. Trigger-happy TV. It's incredible how certain moments just stand the test of time.
And everyone was doing it as well.
I know.
And people will still do that if you talk too loudly on your phone.
They still do that to me.
Yeah, must have been nightmare.
Well, we just went into Gold Stalk. Dom Joly's with us. And actually, we're going to talk about your new book and tour, which is The Conspiracy Tourist. But as you brought up, do people still do that to you?
They do. I'd say 10 times a day, someone comes up and shouts hello at me. And firstly, it's like my catchphrase being hello. It's great that people remember it, but it's not the greatest catchphrase. but the worst thing is that every time they do it, I can see in their eyes, they think they're the first person. They're the very first person to have done it. And so when they see a slightly jaded look in my eye, they're like, what? But you know what? It's great. It's the 25th anniversary next year.
Is it?
Which makes me feel so old. My daughter was born in the year that it was made, so I know exactly how old it is.
It was a appointment to view.
It's crazy.
Always.
Yeah, which is the same as us. We're 25 years old.
We are? Yeah, we are.
No, I know that. But can I just say, people still don't know how to act on their mobile phones, so I did no public service.
When Jeff popped up there, you said, oh, I'd love to do Race Across the World.
I would, yeah.
You have the travel bug, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Because, well, this book, your latest book, is The Conspiracy Tourist. Did you go in search of conspiracies, or did you go travelling and find conspiracies?
So that's a great question. So all my books, I've written 5 travel books. I've been to 108 countries, and I'm obsessed. I've got wanderlust, and I've had it since I was a kid. I grew up in Lebanon. Kind of all the people I looked up to when I was a kid were like travel writers, foreign correspondents. So I think all my books are essentially travel books first. And I go to weird places. I've been to North Korea, Chernobyl.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, that was very odd. That's a whole show on
that.
I've been skiing in Iran. I've been monster hunting in the Congo. I've walked across Lebanon. And this one, so I always write a book thinking about where I want to go and travel to, but I need a subject.
Right.
And conspiracies was something I thought of this book during lockdown. And I think, like a lot of us, we're all a bit stuck at home, online maybe a bit too much.
Yeah.
And I found myself arguing a lot with flat earthers, which is something I would not recommend to anyone.
What is flat earthers?
Well, there's people that think the earth is flat.
Oh, okay. That's probably me. You mean it's not flat?
Well, I don't know, that's the point. But what really came down to was, much as I had these arguments with people, I wasn't sure whether they were doing it just for clicks, to be contrary, or whether they really believed it. And I thought, actually, what I really want to do is go out there and meet some of these people, look them in the eyes and think, do you mean this? And weirdly, they do. Yeah, they do. So that was the idea.
So some of the big ones, the Titanic didn't really sink.
Well, there's so many theories.
Didn't really happen.
I mean, there's so many... I mean, anything massive that happens tends to attract conspiracy theories. So the Titanic, when it went down, there were theories that it was the sister ship of the Titanic went down. It was an insurance job. There were a lot of very important people on the Titanic. So everyone were like, oh, was it a way to crash the American economy? The moon landings, of course. Did we land on the moon? I don't know. A lot of these conspiracies,
When you say you don't know,
go on.
because the moon landing for me is one, and of course, because of social media, because we get to see all these images now, the moon landing is one that never occurred to me that it didn't happen, probably until those COVID days.
Yeah.
But now it does make me think. This was in the 1960s when we didn't have any mobile phones. Technology was at a very low, you know, we didn't really have very much. Why have we never been again? And the more I've read about it, the more it does make me question it.
OK, I think it's very valid to question that one, because if you think about it, the moon landing, Kennedy announced very early in 1960, in the Cold War, we're going to land on the moon before the end of the century. Then Kennedy gets assassinated. They're getting very close to the end of the decade. Nothing's happened. And so people think, well, maybe they just thought, oh, we're not going to make it. Let's shoot it in a studio. The two things I would say to counter it, and I'm not a conspiracy debunker, but I would say, firstly, is that the amount of people needed
to keep the secret,
to keep that secret is massive. But the most crucial one is Donald Trump was president, And when he becomes president, that man is told all this stuff. And you honestly think Donald Trump could keep that secret for more than a day? It's one of the big things in all the conspiracy theories. And they did go back. They did go back. They went, I think, 3 times. I'm not a lunar expert, but they've been back to the moon 3 times. But after that, it's like there's not much to do there, to be honest.
But it is the wonder of human nature as well, to just keep questioning.
Oh,
questioning.
100%.
And the bigger a story is, but what if, but what if, but what if?
100%. And this is one of the things I really try to put across in the book. I'm not someone saying conspiracies don't exist. There are definitely conspiracies. We're all conspiratorial. Governments do terrible things. Corporations, we know they behave badly.
And we should continue to question.
We should 100% criticise. But firstly, a lot of those things are not conspiracies. They're just crimes or corruption. But also, it's the thing I don't like about the conspiracy culture. It's a kind of assumption that everyone is bad, that everyone's up to no good.
And everyone else is an idiot.
And actually, I saw most of the people I meet are quite nice. I've met a lot of important people in my weird last 25 years, and generally, they're kind of idiots. These people, most people I've met, politicians, can't run a traffic system. So the idea they're running some international seems unlikely.
I think people like Alex Jones as well took it to a very dark level with things like Sandy Hook and everything.
Well, they're grifters, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're people trying to make money out of it, and I agree with that. And so when I started writing the book, I have to admit, I tried to do it with an open mind, but there was a part of me thinking, are a lot of these people idiots? And actually, having done it, I don't think they are. If anything, a lot of the conspiratorial people I met were actually almost overthinkers. I think the real problem is social media. When I did the book, I set up a fake Instagram page of a fake conspiracy theorist, and I followed the usual suspects, Alex Jones, David Icke. And what was astonishing is the moment the algorithm finds out that you're into that,
you get more.
The stuff gets in there. So if you compare that fake Instagram page and mine, we are living in 2 totally different universes. And so you can see why people get sucked into it.
You go sucked into that rabbit hole, and suddenly some things start to make sense.
Of course they do. Because, again, I think, as humans, we don't like chaos. We like order. And what conspiracy theories do, if you look hard enough, you can find patterns and things, and it kind of puts order where sometimes just stuff happens.
Which is probably when COVID was such a breeding ground, because we were all at sea, weren't we?
Of course, and it was also... Conspiracy theories tend to really come up when sort of there's political turmoil and massive things like COVID are happening. Now, there were loads of mistakes in COVID. Of course there were. I mean, look at the last government we just got rid of. The idea these people knew what they were doing is not, but I think that's
You've got the last word on that, unfortunately. That's not a political statement in any way. So, The Conspiracy Tourist is a book, but it's also a tour, and you can see Dom Joly across the country. Thank you, Dom.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Still to come.